Hogwarts library. And so it's done in a really fantastic way. If you open the book, you will see the names of the characters in the novel who have checked out the book. You can see some markups in the book. So it's a very interesting way. When we think about novels, we think about them as being purely printed word, right? It's printed, it's scripted, but there are interesting ways of interacting. So you sort of get a copy of what the library book looks like. So there are some notes, there are some pages that are worn, there are some names there. And it's the same thing for Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. So Quidditch Through the Ages is a book that is mentioned in the novels, and Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them is one of the textbooks that they need to study, so it's also a book referenced. And this one is the property of Harry Potter. And so there are some pages in the book really interesting. So you can see Ron writing on the pages. You can see Hermione writing on the pages too. You can see Harry Potter and Ron. You see some notes of them playing hangman because they're too bored in class. You see these notations in the version of the book. So if you have a chance, purchase one in English. Okay, and you can read the textbook. It feels like you are reading the book that Harry owned. That's a very interesting concept. That's a very interesting idea. It takes the realism to a new level, and that's a very fun thing. And so, as you all know, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them became its own spin-off series. And so Rowling is continuing to make the series and expanding. And so I think it's a very nice series. It goes back to before the time of Harry Potter, right? Okay, next slide, please. Yes. Oh, next slide, please. We'll come back to Beedle the Bard. That's this one. So Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, the original screenplay. And so this series is still being made right now. And if you are really interested in, and it's set in America, so if you're really interested in this universe, and what I really like is that you can see a different format of literature. You can read the screenplay. That's different from reading a novel or watching a film. You can see how the stage directions, the filming directions, how they translate onto the big screen. So it's very interesting to do, reading the original screenplay. Yeah. Can we go back to Beedle the Bard? Yeah. So yes, The Tales of Beedle the Bard is an important book that is in the novel. So it appears in the last novel, Deathly Hallows. So Dumbledore passes on his copy to Hermione Granger. And this book is a new translation by Hermione Granger, according to the settings. So Rowling, of course, is the writer, but she claims that, so in her writing it's set so that Hermione Granger does the translation of the ancient runes of the stories. One of them is the iconic story of the three brothers who meet death. And then also there are some notes by Dumbledore. So Rowling uses Dumbledore's voice to comment on the stories. And if you're like me, and you are a teacher of literature, you sort of admire Dumbledore's ability to comment on short stories. And if you are a student of literature, reading through how Dumbledore comments is very interesting. The stories are sometimes a little dark, sometimes a little humorous, but it's an extension of this world. And there are drawings by Rowling, so you can see how J.K. Rowling, I believe these drawings are all by her. So yeah, some people have all the talent. Yeah, some people get all the talent. Okay, and lastly, we're almost done for the day. The last thing that I want you to know is that the Harry Potter universe continues to expand. There's one more slide after the screenplay. So right now, in the West End in London, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child is being performed. Now, the story takes place after the end of the 7th novel. So it takes place 19 years after Voldemort dies, okay, the vanquishing of Lord Voldemort. And it's a new series. It's a new story here. Some people really like it because they watched it. If you read the screenplay, if you read the play only, this is a special rehearsal script which I read. I remember reading it in Venice. This is in the city of Venice, and it happened very fast. It's very interesting to read. It would also be even more interesting to see it on stage. So I look forward to doing that someday in the future. But the point that I want to make is that Rowling used to say, many years ago, she said, once the 7 books are done, I am done. And that's it. I close this universe. But now she continues to go back to the story. And if you are all interested in the world, please visit the website Pottermore, okay, or just type Harry Potter official website. There's a lot of information. You can see the extent of knowledge and imagination that J.K. Rowling has for this world. And remember that things that start from fiction, from novel, can expand into film, they expand into screenplays, and now it's expanded to the live stage, drama, real life drama. Okay, so are there any more questions? No more questions? Okay. So I hope today's introduction has helped you refresh your memory of the series. Next week we will be talking about some of my favorite scenes, favorite moments from the novels, and I'll also give you some suggestions about what to think about, how to respond to a novel. How do we read a novel like a professor? How do we read a novel like Professor Dumbledore? Put it that way. And I'll also introduce you to some very interesting sources that I like, that relate to Harry Potter. So there are many books like Harry Potter and Philosophy, Harry Potter and Psychology, and Religion. There are different fields that have used this series to explore important issues. My particular favorite that I've been reading recently is about Potter and politics. And so I'll introduce some of those things to you all next week. Okay, so are we all here? Okay, all right, anyone watching? 3. There are 3 people, okay. So, thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you all next week. Thank you all very much.